That's a big 100% completion rating on episode P4. So let's finally move over to episode Adachi and figure out what Adachi was doing, or why he even showed up during this entire event. So let's get started then. I'm assuming it's going to be a lot like text heavy. Yeah. Crunch! My molar slowly crushed a hard lump of fiber. I knit my eyebrows at my first taste of the lotus root in a long, long while.
Ugh, gross.
I scraped in some barley-filled rice, as if to wash down the lotus root. Today's dinner consists of shikazeni full of vegetables. I also get some miso soup, that's one step away from water, cucumber tsukemono, and even an orange slice or two for dessert. Oof. I want some sea urchin, or eel. Yakiniku sounds good too. Or maybe some beef tongue, served rare, covered in onion, and marinated with a little lemon juice. While I fantasize about this, I grab another lotus root out of the bento pack with my chopsticks. I peer through the holes of the lotus root, and my eyes meet those of the guard staring at me through the observation window.
Hurry up and eat!
Yeah, sorry.
I've been in jail for about 5 months now. I'm being held at the prefectural police HQ neighboring Inaba City as a suspect in the serial murders that took place in Yasao Inaba. 2 murders, plus abandoning a corpse, and a few other charges. Normally, I'd be immediately prosecuted and transferred to prison, but the police are having trouble with the supernatural cause of death being thrown into a television. I mean, I sure as hell wouldn't want to be assigned to a pain-in-the-ass case like this. Well, maybe it's not for me to say, being an ex-cop and all. After-meal drowsiness hits me soon after, and I lay down on the tatami mat. There's nothing to do with this empty cell, just as I'm about to pass from consciousness into that beckoning slumber.
Number 82, interrogation!
The voice of the guard outside pulls me back to reality. Number 82, that's me. An interrogation this late in the day? Give me a break. I sigh in a way that the guard wouldn't see and slowly get up. The detective in charge leads me away, leaving my cell behind. It's been a while since I was last called to the interrogation room. The stuffiness really seems to stress the spitefulness of this room. That alone is enough to get me down. When I first got here, I gave them the whole truth. Since it was all over, I didn't plan to hide anything, and it'd be a pain if things got complicated. But, obviously, proving that you can kill people with magic isn't the kind of thing that can be demonstrated to an audience that isn't willing to listen. After going through some serious psych evaluations and all that crap, the interrogators weren't able to make any progress. So, my jail life continues.
Here's some more things. Check them.
Today they want me to go over some evidence. I plop my ass down on the uncomfortable stool, and the young detective lines up several objects on the table.
These are the 3 pieces of evidence.
This is a replica gun that's been modified to fire real bullets. Oh, yeah, that was in my closet. I'd bought this when I first joined the police force and was frustrated when I didn't get a gun right off the bat. And this, a digital audio player. I won it at a New Year's bingo game, then tossed it somewhere and forgot about it. Where the hell did they find that? And that is a large flat screen TV. It's big enough to easily shove someone through, but I've never seen this TV before. In other words, it's irrelevant to this investigation. It's pretty damn evident that there's no new evidence to find. I've got nothing more to hide, and I've told them so. And yet, they still manage to dig up more junk. They don't even realize that they're wasting their time.
None of them are related to the case. I mean, I've said this many times before, but I've already told you everything.
Shut up! No back talk! Just check them all!
The detective pounds the table with his fists, probably in an attempt to intimidate me. What losers. My game's long been over. What good would it do to me to lie now? The reason you can't assemble a case against me is because you're idiots. And I have to sit here, waste my energy dealing with you morons. Why don't you use your head a little? I make a show of pretending to look at the so-called evidence again, and the detective lights a cigarette.
Seriously, between Adachi and Dojima, is anyone in Inaba PD not a dumbass?
Kojima-san.
Ryotaro Dojima. You know him real well. Rumor has it his position at the station's shaky because of you. A real cop wouldn't have the balls to show his face at the station if one of his men got sent up for murder.
The detective with the cigarette blows some smoke in my face. I get this kind of treatment every day, and this is one of the less severe acts of hostility I face at that. Since I'm an ex-cop, the police are merciless when they interrogate me. On top of being in restraints from morning till night, if I start to doze off, I get some water to the face. The verbal abuse is constant. If I say something, I get yelled at. If I stay quiet, I get yelled at. It really impresses me how much energy they have. They're probably pissed at how long this case is taking them, but they can't blame me for their incompetence. Seeing that I don't so much as move an eyebrow, the detective lights a second cigarette and laughs mockingly.
You know, I felt sorry for him. So out of kindness, I told him during the investigation. I said, I'll make sure to dispose of your no-good man, so don't worry about that. And what does that bastard do? He suddenly grabs me by the collar. I almost ended up having to submit a written apology.
Talk about a blunder.
It ain't nothing to laugh about. What do you think he said, huh? He can settle matters for himself without me asking you to do it. What a bunch of shit to say about a killer.
Hearing that, I smile knowingly. Dojima sounds being a pain in the ass like he always is. I'm no longer his subordinate, just a complete stranger. He should cut off any ties to me, but instead, he has to go and say that. Besides, isn't it backwards for a detective to be believing in a criminal? This cop's right. Seriously, he makes me laugh.
Yeah, I'm done dealing with Hicks. Oh, I guess once you've been a police dick in the sticks that long, your morale's shot. I wouldn't be surprised if Dojima snuffed a few himself. That must be where his men learned it.
That's a funny joke.
Huh?
Although, aren't you the one with the quick fist? I heard rumors about you when I was on active duty. You punched a suspect in the face during an investigation. Got found out and covered it up, right? What a hero!
The detective's face gets redder and redder. Even though I sound frivolous, my heart is cold.
And since then, you've made sure to only punch him in the gut, right? You sure know what you're doing, aiming to work at the Metropolitan PD.
You little... I ain't taking that kind of lip from a goddamn killer.
The chair is kicked out from under me, and I slam into the ground. The detective grabs me by the hair and roughly pulls my head up. Seeing the detective's face contorted with anger and humiliation is just hilarious.
If you don't want a good thrashing, then you better spill everything, you bastard.
Sir, you really shouldn't go any further.
The young detective steps in front of his superior, probably out of worry, but all he does is fluster. The younger one has no control over the other detective's movements.
Shut up! You don't get anything out of scumbags like him without getting your hands dirty. Watch and learn.
He punches me in the gut. He avoided my solar plexus. He must be used to hitting people. I choke back my stomach acid and scoff.
That wasn't nice. Isn't this against the Criminal Procedure Code?
Huh?
Criminal Procedure Code, Article 319. Forced confessions gained through torture and intimidation are inadmissible as evidence. Anything I tell you is invalid if you get your hands dirty. Didn't they teach you the basics in police academy? Oh, but I get it. You're stuck in the boonies like this because you can't even get the Criminal Procedure Code straight.
You little...
The detective's eyes open wide. I stepped on a landmine. He's probably gonna hit me again. I brace myself for it, but contrary to my anticipation, I'm not struck by a fist. Instead, I feel cold steel, the barrel of a gun, pressed up against my temple.
You must be Toru Adachi. I wish to speak with you.
The atmosphere in this room suddenly becomes tense. I feel a chill run down my spine. He's not the same detective I was just talking to. He's someone else. I don't have any proof. That's what my gut is telling me.
I'm sorry, but I must ask you to come with me. Enter the TV here. And to be clear, this is less a request than an order.
Whoa, what are you doing? There'll be hell to pay for pointing your gun at a detainee. You really need to calm...
Ah, yes. I'd forgotten we weren't alone. Get out of here.
Huh? What are you saying?
I said get out. I don't wish to make matters worse. And you don't wish to die, do you?
The detective slowly raises his arm and points the gun towards a corner in the ceiling. He fires, and the lens of the security camera in the room shatters to pieces, accompanied by the ear-splitting sound of gunfire. The young detective quivers and bolts from the interrogation room. Well, he made the right move. There's no point in making a show of justice if it's going to get you killed.
Ah, now you've done it. So, who are you?
You'll find out when we meet. Enter the TV. You should still be able to do that.
Without changing expressions, he pushes the gun into my back. If I try to resist, he'll pull the trigger without hesitation. I can feel the danger in the air. Disobeying him would not be a wise plan right now. I walk towards the TV that had been brought in as evidence. Before I can even start to struggle, I'm thrown into the television with an unbelievable strength. I feel a strange floating sensation as if gravity has lost its hold on me entirely.
Just like old times.
Yeah, I know this feeling. And I know what's waiting for me at the bottom. What now? I sigh slightly as I fall head first. I was thrown out into a school classroom enveloped in an uncanny atmosphere. There were chairs and desks lined up, textbooks on the shelf, a blackboard and that good stuff. But the walls are plastered with posters and barricade tape labeled P1 Grand Prix is strung up all over the place. Seriously, who made these things? I look at the blackboard puzzled and read the words Yasogami High School Monthly Events written upon it.
When I exited the TV, I found myself in a classroom.
Yaso High is where those wannabe detectives go, huh? Of course, this isn't the real school, but I get the feeling that they'll be showing up any time now. Well, that doesn't matter. The thing I need to worry about is that whoever called me here is somewhere in the school too.
Seriously, I can't believe I'm called in here all of a sudden. I'm not even a cop anymore. Honestly, I'd rather be in prison.
Well, that said, even if I go back, it'll be all back to square one. That would be very annoying. Fine, I'll play along then. I was getting tired of dealing with those idiot cops anyway.
Well, I guess I'll go. Didn't think anything like this would ever happen again. Isn't there something wrong with this world? Who knows what'll happen next?
I guess I'll start investigating from the top. I scratch my head and start making for the door, out of the classroom. I'm sure I'll find some evidence if I just start walking around. Wait a sec. That's something Dojima-san used to say all the time.
Oh man, I've picked up the habit without realizing it. Look what you've done to me, Dojima-san.
Give me a break, Dojima-san. I roll my eyes as I leave the dark classroom.